Well, uh, I mean, it's interesting to me because I have, according to my votes reflect the wishes of the people in my district. And I have always felt that my faith and allegiance was to the people there in the district, my constituents. And so, as each of these individual measures came before the legislature, I cast no votes, usually no votes, because the measures were almost always about acknowledging rights or assigning identification to homosexual persons.
Did you agree with those votes?
Um, I felt my duty, and I still feel this way, is to represent my constituents. Uh, I cherish the fact that we have a remarkable system of government, um, and that system of government provides for representatives elected by the people to go to the legislative bodies, whether it be Washington, D.C. or Sacramento, and to cast votes on behalf of the people.
Hmm.
Not my own point of view, not my own internal conflict, certainly to use my best judgment, but to vote as my constituents would have me vote. There's never been a doubt in my mind on the position of the majority, the vast majority of people in my district, the 18th senatorial district, on these different issues. And so I voted as I felt I should on behalf of the people who elected me.
Now, you've been taking criticism the last couple of days from the gay groups that say that it's hypocrisy that you voted that way. I personally take an insult to that. That to me is like saying every black person should vote for Obama, right? Every woman should be pro-abortion. I don't care for the stereotype myself, but I have to ask you, Roy, now that you have told us that you are in fact gay, is it going to change the way you vote?
Again, I believe firmly that my responsibility is to my constituents. And so, on each measure that may come before me, I will, take a careful look at it and apply that standard. How would my constituents vote on this? How would they have me vote on this? Obviously, each of us have differences of opinion on almost every issue,
Right.
but I think I don't, for your audience listening today and others, the people, I mean, when I say that I understand my constituents on these questions, I don't think anyone misunderstands what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, I just want that confirmation from you. I also, I'm sure there are many people wondering, Roy, as a Christian and as a conservative, I pride myself on the fact, and I say it on the show all the time, I don't care about hyphenated Americans. I don't care about color of skin. I don't care about somebody's gender. I don't care about their sexual preference. I want them to do the job. I just want them to do the job, and the rest is irrelevant to me. Why did you feel you needed to tell us this about yourself?
Well, because my own actions the other night, resulting in a driving under the influence arrest, uh, point to, where was I, what was the behavior I was engaged in, those aspects that I thought were my personal life. And so, obviously, I mean, that changes the circumstance and people, so I I felt it best to just let people know.
What do you want us to do with this information, Roy?
I would ask people to pray for me.
Okay. Well, that I've been doing a lot in the last couple of days. I love you dearly, Roy, and you've got a saving faith. I think you have told me, correct?
I I, I do. My faith is very clear and very firm, and yes, and uh, again, that's to me a very personal matter.
Hmm. Okay. How has it been the last week? How have people been towards you in the media? I want people to know what it's been like.
Well, I have no complaints. I mean,
You did it, right? You did this.
exactly. I did this. And again, I've always believed that my personal life is personal.
I agree.
And I have a public role, a public job, a public responsibility, but I felt I could keep the two separate. And that's, why in casting votes on behalf of my constituents, I'm clear about that in my mind. When I crossed the line and broke the law and put people at risk, that's different. And so I do owe people an explanation. And so the best way to handle that is to be truthful and to say to my constituents and to all who care that I am gay. But I don't think it's something that has affected, nor will it affect how I do my job.
Yeah, I think of you as Senator Ashburn, not as, and I don't want you to be labeled, and I don't know if you want to be labeled, but I don't want you to be labeled. I want you to do your job as you have.
Well, thank you, but that's for the people to decide.
Yeah, it is. You're right. You're right. And so now what going forward, Senator Ashburn, are you, forgive me for asking, are you going to live this way in your district? I don't know how to ask you the question otherwise.
I pray to God that I can find peace, and I want to go back to work in the Senate and work hard for the people who sent me to the legislature. We have tough times in California.
Yeah.
A lot to do, and I want to get back to work.
And when you are termed out, are you going to continue to pursue public service?
Well, I've already announced that I'm not running for any public office when
right.
my term ends at the end of this year.
Right. And I do want people to know also that you had a terrific radio show on this station, which ended only because you were considering a run for Congress and you wanted to be...
No question.
Yeah, you wanted to have integrity on the equal time issue.
We'd
have kept you forever, Roy.
Well, I enjoyed my radio show very much, but there are equal time requirements under federal law that when I decided to run for Congress, which I did decide to do, and people in Jim Costa's congressional district know that because I made phone calls to them telling them I'm going to run. Will you support me? I did that for about 3 weeks, but knowing that I had made that decision to run, without even announcing to the radio station management that I was quitting the show, I simply announced on a Saturday afternoon that this would be my last show, and the purpose for going off the air was to avoid the station being in conflict with equal time requirements.
Was your reason for not running for Congress at all related to these issues?
Yes.
Okay. Senator Ashburn, you have the last word to your constituents.
I would simply say to my constituents that I appreciate you. I believe that it's an amazing responsibility and privilege to represent you in Sacramento. Now you know everything about me. I will do the very best job that I can to represent you as faithfully and with as much dignity and honor as I can.
Okay. Vote no. That's what I say. Vote no, Roy. Next, taxes, budgets, everything. Just vote no. I look forward to watching how this all unfolds, and it's been with a heavy heart that I've watched this all in the last week, and I feel that there have been those who've been gracious to you and those who've been exceptionally cruel, and I thank you for making KERN the place where you wanted to speak to your constituents.
Well, thank you, Inga. I appreciate it, and you have been very forthright in this interview, and I appreciate that.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, Roy. Thank you so much for coming on with us.
Thank you, and thanks to your listeners and to all my constituents.
You bet. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. State Senator Roy Ashburn. I'll give you the word of the day after we get back. I'm Inga. This is the Inga Barks Show on KERN, Kern Radio, now bigger and better at AM 1180.
The new Kern Radio, now at AM 1180.